Robot. You started the recording?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell that. Robot. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings. Greetings. Peace. I don't do this. I don't do this a lot. So, I had something on my heart that I felt the need to get out because it's something that I've been working on for myself. And I know that this says it's a goddess gathering. But it's really for some of everybody. So as you all know, a lot has been going on. Not bad. Good, yes. The main purpose of this, as you can see in the blue, speaking about truth, and it might be hard for some people to understand, so I'm going to try and break it down as much as I can, is pull your power back and don't let anyone get in your way of understanding what it is, why it is, how it is that you are here. Some might call it a personal journey. Some might call it other things, but I have a lot of conversations with both my mother, my Umi, Faise, his Umi, other people, and something that I'm working on right now, or a passion project of mine for the past month of mine, was reconnecting with the inner child, because you always start somewhere. And something even Faise has said was looking at my baby pictures, or at my little me pictures, that you could see it in the eyes, that you know why you're here, or you could see it in the eyes that you know you have purpose. But anyone who's watched Avatar, they say, but things fall into the creek. The creek is naturally gonna flow. It's gonna want to flow. That's its purpose. But things fall into the creek, and life gets messy. And so when you're walking down this road that is narrow but short, life gets messy. No matter what walk you've walked, whether it be Christianity, Islam, just life, and you lose a little bit of yourself depending on who you interact with, what you think your calling is, just different things. And especially with the people that you interact with, because humanity was not fashioned to be solitary. Solitary has its own benefits, or being by oneself, but life is not meant to be lived alone. And being a hermit is really a choice. But essentially, it's healthy to have those connections, and people will go crazy. That's why solitary confinement is what it is, because people go crazy. Being alone by themselves, being shut up, looking at the same four walls all day, every day, don't get no fresh air, don't get no light. And your human beings, they're like plants, just flesh plants. And you still need your water, you still need your sustenance, you still need the sunlight. I don't care. Unless you have a condition. Everybody needs some sunlight. Sunlight does you good. But life gets messy. Things go one way or another, and you lose your sense of self. As you were a child, you might have liked doing one thing. And through influence of something, someone, somewhere, one thing or another, you might lose that. And it's hard, or it can be hard. Harder for some people than others. It's just not easy to pull that back, because it could get tangled up in so many other things. Either you, this term has been popping up a lot personally, but people pleasing, you can be caught up in trauma. Somebody could hurt you, and you shut down whatever that part of you is that is causing for the light that's within you to glow. Don't forget that. If y'all got some baby pictures, y'all should hang them up. I just say that because mine are hanging on the wall right now. But my mother, growing up, we always had this basket of pictures. And either it was by way of my father or by way of my mother, they would be some picture snapping fools, okay? So we got pictures from baby pictures. We got pictures from 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. An iconic moment in my life is 3 years old. I had a catchphrase. Hi, it's me again. Whenever I would show up, it would be, Assalamu alaikum. Hey, auntie. Hey, uncle. Hi, it's me again. I grew up in Islam. And even from an early age, looking at my mom, I knew that I wanted to be I knew, like, everybody looks at their mom if you have that connection with them. And you just think that they're the most gorgeous thing in the whole wide world. I wanted to be like my mom when I grew up. My mom, she would sing around the house. My mom would tell me to keep things clean. My mom would read to us. My mom would put us in front of She put us in front of VeggieTales. Even though you're growing up Muslim, I came up watching VeggieTales. I watched the old Yellow Submarine movie. I watched. They were all right. So I guess it's a little it would be archaic now. Some people still do it. I saw something online recently, but they would record things on VHSs and we would watch them back. So just throughout the years, you're like, oh, I liked this growing up. Let me see what that's about. Or I watched this, or I liked eating this, or I liked going here. Don't stop doing that. If it gave you a sense of joy, chase that joy, because there are so many things in this world that are trying to steal that joy from you. And that joy is energy. Try not to get all conscious community on it, but everything is energy, to keep it simple. And a lot of things are simple. They might not be easy. They might not be easy to grasp, but they are definitely simple. Simple words are good. But everything is energy. So once again, you like eating a certain flavor of ice cream that nobody else liked and you can't find anywhere else in the store. And you can only get on one side of the country. Go find that thing. Or next time you're in your home state, or next time you find something that you just really enjoy doing or you remember doing, go do that. When I was growing up, I didn't realize how privileged or just how much money my grandma had on my father's side. And we would go to, let me tell you something. I never heard of a Six Flags up until I was like 11. But I'm from Michigan. Even though where we would go is in Ohio, it's in Toledo. We would go to Cedar Point. Cedar Point was where it was on and popping, okay? And we would go there probably like every other week whenever we went to go visit my go-go. When I got down here, grown, had money, had the time, and people were flaking on me, I wanted to go to Six Flags. But like I said, people were flaking. So I went to Six Flags by myself. You don't need nobody to go do that. But I felt the need to do that because, one, it was fun, and I didn't want to miss out on the fun. It was an experience that I was able to have, had full faculties of getting myself there and purchasing my admission. But it gave me joy to do that. Now, when you want people to go places and do things with you, you simply want to share that joy. But sometimes people fall short or they're doing their own thing, and you can't take that personally. Find the things that give you joy. You know dang well that picking up no shoddy gave you no joy. Probably didn't pick up a shoddy until you was a teenager. That don't give you no joy. It might give you an adrenaline rush, and some people are looking for those things instead of true joy. You liked wearing a certain color, and I know I was one of them. But a lot of teenagers these days, they're like wearing black. And you know, as a child, either you like blue, you like brown, you like orange. My mother put it on my ear just the other day. This whole time I've been thinking like her favorite color was brown, and I'll buy her things that were brown because that's what she told me. She said her favorite color is brown. Come to find out, she wasn't talking about me. She was talking about her, and her favorite color was orange. I said, ma'am, since when? And she was like, well, it's always been orange, but you know, you can't find things in orange. And I'm like, did you look? Did you try looking anytime recently? And the thing is, she has this cardigan that is both pink and orange. And the thing is, too, she sewed it together. That's something that she enjoys doing. She enjoys making things with her hands. And so sometimes that's what you got to do too. Make things by your own hands in order to still get that joy. Rear and back. Rewind. But never forgetting that power is very important. If you know that if you know that you were somebody, and when I say somebody, I mean if you had a sense of identity about yourself and you knew that was at a certain point in your life, and you have to look back, hindsight always 20/20, 4 eyes 5, you know what I mean? But if you got to look back, hindsight 20/20, and you can see that wherever you are right now is not where you want to be, you're not happy, you're not reaching the milestones, I don't want to say goals, you're not reaching the milestones that you want to reach, you're just not happy, then go back to a time when you were able to tap in and find that joy. And sometimes you might need to reach back to when you were a child, which goes and ties right back into the inner child stuff. But when you, especially for people who've gone to public schools, or I realize that not a lot of people have had certain luxuries that other people have had. The haves and have-nots play a huge part in a lot of things. And so sometimes that's a hard thing to stomach. There might be something that you might have wanted to do that you never got to do, and you just like forgot about it because you weren't financially able, or you didn't have a car to get you from point A to point B, or you might have thought that you needed somebody to get you to that place, or you didn't want to go alone. But once again, you realize you're not happy. Some things that you need to change, or in order to move forward, sometimes you need to take a few steps back. But that doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Backtracking. Can you see questions over there? Or, like, more comments? All I keep saying is that people join. Do you see any that are interesting?
Well, nobody really asked anything yet.
Y'all got questions? Sooner or later, we will be able, or it will be, if I'm consistent enough with these lives, with these goddess gatherings. I love that. Thank Faise for that, because at first it was going to be called one thing, and I was like, I don't like that. Find something else to call it. And he did. He came through.
What are we going to be called the first one?
Like a woman's circle or something. One, not all, like I keep emphasizing, like it's not all women in here, and two, it's dangly not a circle, because it's only me for now, which is my point. At some point in the future, with the consistency of these, even though I do have a few people in mind, I don't know if they're present or not, to pull up, eventually we will start pulling people up to just tap in. So not even on Phase 1's platform, but getting more engagement from the Mrs. Faise page and having more topics to post, which there are things to post in the future. English, help me. They're coming. Everybody asking about classes. Classes will resume mad quick. Oh, happy third day of the fast. You know when you have like an outline and you're like going over it in your head. I had a whole outline. Now it's gone. But that was going to be in the opening. Happy third day of the fast. And good ups and good looks to people that have been walking. So far, you got 4 days left. And it is flying by, actually. Even though in moments, you might feel like giving up. And the algorithm keeps sending you content with food in it. And it's like, dang, I know I shouldn't be eating that right now. Or they keep sending me things with meat in it. And I'm like, why am I seeing this? I know. But just the fact that it's food, I'm like, why are you doing this to me? But happy third day of the fast. Everybody stay strong, keep walking. It'll be completed before you know it. And you can say that you've gotten something under your belt. I don't know if it said it in the post, but this is just one half of the fast. It's a 14-day fast with a day in between. So it's 7 days straight. And then a day on the 8th day. That's a day to break the fast or put a break in the fast. And then on the 9th day, for another 7 days, it's going to resume. But yeah. Discipline. Growing up in Islam, once again, the haves and have-nots, depending on how strong your iman or faith, willpower of your people. I grew up in Islam, and both of my parents were converts. Don't tell them I said that. But they came into Islam, and I was born into it. But both of them had their boots on the ground and didn't shirk any of their duties. And so when it came time for Ramadan, even as a kid, even though they say like before you hit puberty, you're like, it'll pass over you. You don't have to fast. You don't have to participate. You could be in school, and some kids participated whether they were in school or not. But growing up in Islam and participating in Ramadan really gives you a little bit of a taste for the discipline that you would need to have. That will take you far in life. It doesn't just have to be in relation to abstaining from certain things that you do in life, whether it's cursing, drinking, smoking, eating, but all the things that you don't have to do in life, even though the human body does need some sustenance from now and then. So I guess eating is kind of a thing that you need to do. just having that discipline and having a foundation where discipline is there from jump kind of makes this a little bit easier for some people rather than others. I know that there are a lot of people that are on the walk that have never fasted a day in their lives. And more ups to you, because your places, ooh, I don't know if I can say that. But the door to the gates are just as open to you as they are for anybody else. Skirt. Rewinding back again. I just wanted to say congratulations to everybody that made it to day 3. But I guess I should kind of tap in a lot on the inner child stuff. So there was a sister in the community, I'm not going to name no names, who put it in front of me that inner child work is a thing. What inner child work does is it's not only beneficial for overcoming or healing trauma, it's not only beneficial for overcoming and healing certain breaks or disconnects that you've had in life. It helps in a way that going to therapy might also help. Go to therapy, y'all. But if you don't have the money to do therapy and you have the time, meditating and some inner child work would help, because when you tap back into certain points of your life, you're not only, what are these movies? Well, there's a certain horror film franchise that I've only seen one movie of, and it was a long time ago, that kind of taps into it, where you have an out of body or hindsight or just ability to look back at a time where you might not have been able to see clearly. You're only able to see as clearly as you are aware of doing in a moment. And so sometimes you need to revisit moments in order to fully dissect them for what they are. A lot of people might be going through, I don't want to keep throwing this word around, but trauma that they haven't looked at in years. Whether there might have been funny aunts or funny uncles or funny parents or funny family members, whether it was just some abusive moments that you might have experienced and your brain immediately files it in the cabinet. Of being in the back of your mind. So they file it away and you don't look at it, and the whole time you're going through life, you're meeting people, you're getting new experiences, but there's this one thing that you know is niggling in the back of your cranium where you're like, there's something I forgot. Well, liken it to that, leaving the stove on. You left the stove on in this moment and period of time way back when, and you're not entirely sure what it is. And sometimes you don't get the luxury of going back to the house because you're rushing someplace else. You don't have time to turn back around. You're only able to either, one, deal with the consequences of your actions or what you may not have done. Well, it's just a little action. Action is what you do and what you don't do. So consequences, or you're able to actually breathe, think about what you did, walk yourself back through those steps and see, oh wait, I did turn the stove off, or wait, I did turn all the lights in the house off. I did not leave not one nan light on, so I will not have a high ass bill. And it's just crucial because, once again, life is not meant to be lonely. This is Goya. Goya was introduced to me through Faise, and I don't know if he knew it or not, but I've always held on to not every single stuffed animal, but I have a thing for stuffed animals. And it's something that I didn't grow up having like a security thing that I would take around with me. I didn't have a security thing that I would take around with me, like a blanket or a stuffy or a book or a piece of clothing. Some people got a piece of clothing. I had never heard of that before. But they have these things that they tote around with them to give them comfort. I wasn't that kid. But growing up, one of the gifts that I got from somebody that was near and dear to me, which was my grandfather, he's still here. He hasn't transitioned. But was a Build-A-Bear. I had that Build-A-Bear for so many years. Me and my brother, actually. We got our Build-A-Bears as a Christmas present, even though we didn't celebrate Christmas. And I held on to it for all these years. I still have it. But that's something that I know can tie me back to my childhood. I never forgot it. Childish by Phase One on the YouTube. Everybody should go give that a rewatch. I think at this time I probably watched it more than 10 times because it's important. Big ups and everything. But that would be something that would kind of sum this whole talk up about not forgetting your power, but also not forgetting your power is tied into not forgetting who you are. Who you are is who you are when you walk through the door, okay? When you walk in, purse first, bag first, shoe first. That's who you are. And you don't forget that as you're continuing to circulate around the room being this world, and you're having your interactions with people, or you're over here having somebody spill their drink on you, or you're over here tripping on the floor, making a mockery of yourself because you don't know how to dance and you knew you didn't know how to dance. But guess what? A lot of people don't know how to dance and they do it anyway. Why? Because that's what they have been doing their whole lives. They didn't forget who they were, and they're not going to let anybody get in their way of expressing what they feel they need to express. Because one thing about it, when you bring yourself, your capital S, self, into a room, you bring out, whether inherently or unknowingly, everybody else's selves that are in those rooms. I don't like when people are like, greetings, reflection, or anything having to do with people reflecting themselves, because it's true, but it just sounds so corny. But everybody has a little bit of everybody else in them. And that is true for everybody. So if anyone has ever heard it, I can't see why you haven't heard it. But when people are like, oh, they hate you or they don't like you because there's something inside of you that they see in themselves that they feel like they're not able to express, or they see you and they hating because they ain't you. That's long story short. They hating because they ain't you. But they are. They can be. They see that you are doing you and you are unadulterated and you are just so big, bright, and free in being yourself that you're not going to let anybody get in that way of you. And whole time they know they can have a list of people, things that are in their way. And so they might feel frustrated. Of course they're going to feel frustrated because there's something inside of them that is trying to burst free, because it knows that it came here to do a job. And for some reason, ego is saying no. You can't do that. They gonna look at you. No, you can't do that because X, Y, and Z. When you use people people's own things against them. Something that Phase 1 has relayed to the people them is that his mother laid it upon him to walk around this joint like you got a fresh ass white suit on, and not to let anyone touch you because they got jam on their hands. I've used that against him on a few occasions. But it's necessary, because how you gonna tell me that I need to have some backbone and be authentic, but I can't be myself? And so sometimes it be yo people. But most of the time it's yourself. It's yourself. Getting in your head, overthinking, overprocessing, second guessing, regretting. Don't have regrets. Live, breathe, and be as authentic and unapologetic in a way that's not going to hurt other people, because it's another thing. You don't want to hurt anybody, because would you want to be hurt? No. And that's kind of the whole point. Trauma, experiences, you being tamped down. What was it? Being shut down versus being subdued. I think that's what my mom said. But you don't want to subdue anybody, because you have something to bring to the table, and other people have things to bring to the table, and everybody has their turn. Everybody has their turn at doing what it is that they do best, and everybody has something to contribute. I think even Phase 1 brought up the fact that if we're all building a mir or a pyramid, that everybody can carry a brick, even if that brick is a little itty bitty stone, because you don't have no muscle mass. Oh, if you could pick up a pebble and it contributes to the mir, do that. But don't look at the person next to you and see that they're not carrying the same 50 bricks that you're carrying, and looking down on them like, why are they even trying? Why are they think that they have something to contribute? Because they do. Oh, submitting, not being subdued. Okay. How was that? Everybody has something to contribute, and so everybody, I hope, even the test tube babies were babies at one point. People got to grow up. People got to start from someplace. If you are finding life hard at some moment in time, go back to square one. It don't hurt nobody. And if your square one happens to be in your 20s, if your square one happens to be in your 30s, if your square one has to be when you're 80, okay, that's your square one. That's the point in your life when you are able to reflect upon and see that you got something going on for yourself, that you have actually taken the time to forgive yourself for not living in your truth. You have the time to reflect and let yourself know that I love you, that you love yourself. Ooh, mirror work. There's so much work you could do. The world and the possibilities are surely endless. Don't let anybody tamp you down. Don't let anybody subdue you. And if you do find yourself being subdued, that's a situation you need to escape out of, okay? That's not a situation that you would want. Yes, at 80 years old. But that's not a situation that you want to be in yourself, and that's not a situation that you want to find yourself in. So do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I don't know if that's scripture, but that is certainly the golden rule. And don't forget that power, because you got some. If you were just really good at doing X, Y, and Z, if you were really good at tying your shoes, Lord, there was a time when I could not tie my shoes. Everybody around me was tying their shoes, and I was still not able to tie my shoes. But you're going to have that one friend that is able to tie their shoes. Either you can ask them for some help, you can look at them mad hard, study what they're doing, and try to figure it out for yourself. But everybody has something to bring to the table. Everybody has something that they came here with. Everybody has something that they have to unlock. Everybody has something that they have to, what's that? Excavate. That was me dusting something. That's everybody has something to bring. And so when you're walking on this journey, if you feel like, once again, that there's something that you left unfinished, maybe you should look into that unfinished thing. And it doesn't always have to be inner child work. When I say that, your inner child could be when you were in your teens. Your inner child could be when you're in your early 20s, late 20s. Once again, your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s. Somewhere where you can go back and see that you had some sense of joy in your life. Revisit those moments. Because there's a light in those moments that you have put down. There's a light in those moments that you have to pick back up, and it's not going to hurt you to do it. You might have to sift through some things. You might have to push things aside that weren't there, realize what was real from what was not real, and take back that thing that you know is yours, because you know is yours. And sometimes you might not look at whatever that picture is and be like, I know exactly what this is. Sometimes you don't know exactly what it is. You got to be in that moment to feel whatever it is that you need to in order to take that light back. So, am I done? Exactly. Find things to smile about. It takes more effort to wear a frown. It takes more effort to walk around with your face all bent up than it does to just smile. Some people smile out of nervousness, like me. But it takes more energy to smile. So if you find those things that you're able to smile about, if you have to make those things into... If you have to bring those things into your life now, wherever you're at, do that. If you need to go fulfill some childhood things, if you need to go mark something off your bucket list, don't wait until you're 80. Don't wait until you're 80 to jump out of a plane. You can. You can wait, but they're probably not going to let you. I think there's an age limit on skydiving. But don't wait. Start. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new day to do that thing that you have not done, because in doing so, you're creating a chain reaction, chain effect, a snowball effect that will build upon that. And it's real simple. It's real simple. It might not be easy. You might get this message, get whatever it is that you grabbed from here, because I've been ripping and running. You might not know what to do. Somebody, keep going. That's my message. That's what somebody told me. And that's the long story short. Top line. It's a high bar that you should be jumping to every day. Some of you people walk around. Y'all forgot how to walk in the room and hit the threshold. All you sports people. Or just dudes. It's a dude thing. You walk in the room, you just... Why? I don't know. But that's what y'all do. Get into doing that. If that makes you happy, if that brings you joy, if that brings a smile to your face, a little chuckle out you, Keep doing that. But keep going. Keep going. Somebody told me that when I was 19 or 20. A few years ago. If I would have just said a few years ago, that could have been any time. But specifically 1920. I think it had something. It was 2019. It was 2019 because the pandemic had rolled around. I was in school and everybody got sent home from school. So keep going. And at first, when I got that message, when I got that seed, I didn't know what to do with the seed. I took it, I sat with it for a few days, and I didn't know what to do with it. And so that's what I was saying, wrapping back around. You might not know what to do with certain messages, but you just know that they're for you. But don't forget them. So I had that seed of keep going, and it took me until I was like driving down the road, going to do laundry, to finally get it. Because guess what? I had already been doing that, taking everything a day at a time. I don't even remember how I used to phrase it, but essentially it was taking everything a day at a time, and every day was a new day. With that, maybe it was that. As long as you have breath, you have options. I got that from my mom. And I think she got that from somebody else, but I'm going to chalk that up to my mom. As long as you have breath, you have options. And that's never going to stop. As long as you have breath, you have options. And every day that the sun rises, as soon as it don't rise, honey, Lord help us. But every day that the sun rises, you have to fix or make right that which is not right within yourself, around you, in your environment. If you gotta, I'm not telling you to quit no jobs, but if you gotta make a switch, or if you gotta submit your name to somebody's institution because your heart is not in whatever it is that you're doing and you don't want to experience no midlife crisis, if you gotta experience a midlife crisis, whatever you need to do to get you back on that walk that you came in here with a sense of purpose to do, go ahead and do that. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. I think Miss Asia was one of the people that I saw in the comments. Yeah, I think I saw your comment. We gotta pull you up here. Not this time, but maybe next time. Because I got some questions for you. And I'm pretty sure you have, just like everybody else in this forum, have some insights. But we're looking for sisters to contribute to the gathering of the goddesses. But that's going to be my tea for today. Any last minute questions? If it'll show them to me. Yeah, this wasn't yeah, like I said, therapy don't hurt nobody. Did you ask them in the comments or did you ask them in the little thingy? Because, like I said, I don't be. Did you ask them in the comments or did you ask them in the little thingy? It sounds like you have a handle on that. Mirror work. You are able to truly see yourself. And kind of tying into that, if you're able to see yourself and you know who you're looking at, nobody else can take that from you. And that's kind of the point. That was the point of this. But you got to be able to really look at yourself for all the things that you've done to others, all the things that you've done to yourself, all of the space that you're taking up. Is it worth it? Do you need to shed some weight? Do you need to let some things go? Do you need to do more? Do you need to work out? Do you need to, when we're done with this fast, do you need to eat right? Do you need to go get that degree? Triple entendre. Do you need to go to this place? Do you need to move out of wherever it is that you are living right now? Oh, well, I don't know if you were in here at the beginning, but even Faise has touched on this. Life is not meant to be lived alone. So having support. So when it comes to the fasting, which is part of the reason why we're doing this as a mass or masses, is because it's easier to go further when you have people surrounding you that are doing the same works as you. What is that? If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Fasting in groups or just not by yourself is easier than doing it by yourself, because you also have people to hold you accountable. You have people, I say support, because you might have a job to do. You might not know where to start, but you might have somebody who's around you who you can have as a soundboard. You might have misgivings. You might have questions. You might just need somebody to vent to, because you're not only fasting and purging things that are within you physically, you're purging things in your auric field. You're purging things that you might not know are being released from you. Even from you choosing to fast. You know that there's going to be somebody around you who's going to be like, oh, you fasting? Well, I guess that means you can't go X, Y, and Z. You can't go with us to this place. And you got to be like, no. Watch how fast those people fall off. When you choose yourself, that right there is a hard thing to do, because something inside of you knows that when you choose yourself, all the people pleasing that you've been doing, that's going to end. And then you see people for who they really are. And that at the beginning of the day, end of the day, they're using you. Don't be used. Yes, purging the cow booty that you ate. No disrespect to the oxtail, but if you know, you know. Oh, goodness. Yeah, some of y'all need to stop going back to your baby daddies and your baby mamas. If they're not contributing to whatever it is that you're doing for the child that you conceived together in a positive way, sometimes you got to choose yourself. I'm about to get off here. Any last minute questions? I feel like maybe even on this one, you might need to start from the beginning. Maybe we need to start with a little bit of astrology next time. Maybe we need to start with a little bit of chakras. Because at first, when Faise brought up like topics, because I did not know what to talk about. That's kind of why this is the first one. There were some subjects, and it wasn't like, oh, this is beneath me. It was just like, people are still asking questions about this. People are going to be asking the same question until the end of time, and that's fine. But we're going to be touching on some things. I'm not going to answer that. Yes, jam on your hands. If you need to put yourself up there to make sure that none of these jokers get the jam on their hands, on your clothes, off of your fresh ass white suit, then you need to do that. I need to get off here. I don't need to, but that's my point. Keep going. Choose yourself. Every day is a new day. What else? Yeah. Don't be afraid. Be not afraid. Biblically accurate angels. But I hope you all have drink water. I'm kind of been on the fence about that, because part of me wanted to make this, me personally, a dry fast. Something in me was just like, you don't need all of that. So it would have really became a not even water situation. Not even water. But I already broke that. I would have had to do that tomorrow. Drink water. Endure the green light. You're doing it every day. And we'll be back on here soon. Faise will be back on here. We'll have a new topic to reach the masses with. New music is dropping. New projects are coming. And in May, we'll be starting a new fundraiser. And yeah, y'all just keep walking. This fast is for everybody. This fast will have its benefits, and you might not see it now, but you'll definitely see it when you're done walking. And even if you drop the ball, you can pick it right back up. Don't shame yourselves. If you do what you gotta do because you gotta do it, just start over. But that's not an excuse. If you've been walking this long, just keep on walking. But that's my tea. That's my piece. I hope you all have a nice rest of your evening, rest of your day. And day 4 is in an hour. If you made it this far, keep going. Keep walking. Keep choosing yourself. It'll all work out in the end. And I love y'all. Be safe. Wadu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace. And we'll see you another time. All right. Wadu.